right, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm Pat.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
This is my first cup of coffee since I've seen you on a Wednesday.
Well, that's the rule. You're not supposed to drink that stuff right now, right?
Actually, they gave me the thumbs up. They said you can have 1 cup a day in the morning. So,
Okay, well,
since I haven't been having stomach pains no more, since they put me on a pill.
what is that you're taking?
I have no idea. So, it's basically like a Prilosec. So, it's just supposed to restore, like, the pH in your stomach after a while or something like that. So, I was just running a little hot on acid. So,
Well, shit. I mean, was that something that was impacting the rest of your
I have
functions?
no idea.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no idea. It's all connected, dude. So who knows?
I sent my mom to go ask the doctor about vascular dementia. That was the stuff I was talking
Vascular
about.
dementia?
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, that was the stuff that I asked Marina about, where she heard the symptoms. She was like, "No, your doctor, they won't notice this on a regular scan. They have to know what they're looking for."
Yeah, you have to do a CT scan for that.
Well, it's not just the CT scan. Yeah, I mean, she's had those in MRIs, but it's also that you have to be looking for symptoms of that. So basically,
maybe it was an MRI.
she's done both.
Yeah, no, I was thinking they looked for that when I was going through that dizzy shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I went to an actual neurologist, and he's like, okay, and the people who did the CT, I think it was an MRI. Did the MRI, were like, oh, you have all this shit, and it's all bad, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And then I go to the neurologist, and he's like, no, this is the thing you have to worry about. You don't have that. There's a little spot right here. You probably had, what do you call it, axiomatic stroke at one point. He says, certain people have them throughout the course of their lives. And so there's nothing to worry about. But yeah, he was like, yeah, there's certain things we have to watch for, and dizziness associated with no other known causes of it can be due to that. So
yeah, that's what I recommended. I haven't heard back. I don't know if she's checked in with anybody yet, but we'll see. I also kind of had to reassure her that I'd been having a hard time with this because she's. Dude, do you ever? Okay. You would probably be okay with it, like if your mom said, like, "Hey, I need help."
Oh yeah, I do it all the time.
Right? You and she said, like, "I need to stay close to you." Would you have not a problem with that?
No.
Okay.
So in fact, I've been trying to get her to move into my house for like a year.
Okay.
She won't do it, which is fine. So.
No, I had to convince her. I was like, "Look, you'll always have a spot here. I mean, look, you're in the unique position where you actually have two children essentially in the same city, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to count it, is Falcon? Would you call it that?
Falcon.
Where?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Okay. But it's close enough where I'd call it the same city. I was like, so you're in the unique situation where the second you get tired of my shit, you can go stay with him, and the second you get tired of his shit, you can come stay with me.
Yeah.
Like, not a whole lot of parents have that where you can do that on the same day. So she actually felt pretty comfortable with that. So I don't know. I put her mind at ease. That was nice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I'm hoping things kind of turn out for the best on that.
It'll probably be okay. So
I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, the only reason why I'd want my mom a little bit closer to us is just to make sure that she eats a little bit better. My mom does not eat that much, but then again, she's also very old. So,
well, does she not eat that much and she eats bad things, or what?
There's no such thing as bad things when you're in your 80s. You can eat whatever the fuck you want. So, yeah, that's exactly what my doctor has told her. She's like, eat whatever you want as long as you keep your weight up. So.
So a lot of that is, so I suppose the alternative would be if your mom was one of those.
Right, no, my mom has never swum a thing.
No, her back is dog shit. Right,
yeah.
It's very much that. So, I understand. But I know with my mom, your mom doesn't have diabetes, does she?
She did, but she beat it.
Okay.
So did my dad. So they both beat it. She never had to go on insulin. So,
Okay.
yeah. She just had to eat more regularly. So,
What does more regularly mean? How was she eating before?
I don't remember. This was a long. This was while my dad was still alive. So it's been a while. Well, and she went through chemo too, and that actually beat it out of her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, chemo does weird things to you, man. So, it does really weird things to you. It's poison.
No, I totally understand. No,
It's poison.
I know what chemo is. I've seen it. I've seen radiation. Yes. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. What a great way to start this. But yes,
Yeah.
no, this is honestly this was the big concern of my week, and even that was, it was more so. I guess for me it was just happy because it changes things that she knows, like because I told her, like, look, I'm absolutely not going to tell you, like, stop doing things on your own. You should do things however you want.
Yeah.
For as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's
right.
Good. That's good. So
and probably 6 months longer. And that's when you're gonna find out, like, hey, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then because I use that example. I said, like, look, if I slipped down my steps, broke both my wrists, you're on the first flight out here to help me out. You'd wipe my ass for me.
Yeah.
So like, I would need help then.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're in this place, I was like, and stop worrying about, like, getting around. It's like, look, we'll get you one of those little motorized scooters. It's cool. She's like, well, if I need one of those things, they'll pay for it. I'm like, even better.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Like, if you can't keep your balance anymore, the fucking scooter will.
Yeah, it will.
Still drive it like a lunatic. Which I know you will, because you're a lunatic driver.
Lunatic driver. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's
still driving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's the next step for my mom's to give that up. That'll
well,
probably.
They might want her to test and see if she'll still pass.
Oh yeah. Well, this is Colorado. It's a little different. I think my mom's is actually good for like 8 more years. And we're like, there's no way, Mom.
Wait, other states are different on that?
Oh, everybody's different.
Oh,
so there's not a standard on it. So I know, like, last time that Mom did hers, how old is she? Yeah. So yeah, no, she's good for 6 more years. So
now, are you talking something beyond, like, the actual, like, vision test?
She had to do that last time. They were like, yeah, you got to do
I
that.
did too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that was years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I did mine. So, but she, yeah, in theory, she could be driving around for 6 more years, and I know she can't do it. So, because I mean, if there's like a thundercloud somewhere, she won't go out. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, it could be over Pueblo. It's like, I see it down there. Come up here.
I got my eye on you. I know what you're doing. Yeah.
So, and if it's and during the winter, it's like, like in the middle of December when the sun goes down at like 4:30, she starts panicking at about 1:15. So it's
a Jewish person trying to get home on Friday.
Get so
yeah.
dark. Yeah.
I
don't like driving in the dark. It's like, yeah, Mom, we get it.
It sounds like none of us likes driving in the dark. We've all hit that age where.
Oh yeah, my eyes are shit in the dark, man. So
like, they're okay. I'm still okay, but I'm not great.
Yeah.
Not so much as, okay, this is one of the other drawbacks of having, such a vivid memory like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Is I can remember how well I used to see.
See, I can't. I'm gonna count that as a blessing.
No, because when I was out walking the dog, about 5 nights ago, 6 nights ago, just the absolute, like, the clearest, the fullest moon you're gonna get, right? And it is almost like it's not quite daytime when it's that bright.
Oh yeah,
right. But it's bright.
It's bright.
And what I remember is when I was, like, in my teenage years, it felt like I could see this well in the dark without it being that bright out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can't do that anymore.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was weird because it felt so familiar, and I was like, it was not always like it was just like this. This is
right.
Yeah.
Oh no, my eyes have been ruined by screens. So
is that what it is?
That's a lot of screens, a lot of screen time, a lot of blue light in my life, Jeff.
I've turned a lot of that off, but I think maybe a lot of the damage is done.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
I don't think that by reducing it after it's happened, that your eyes grow back.
It's kind of like radiation.
We're not, we're not lizards. We're not.
Right. You can grow my tail back, sharpen my eyes back up.
I gotta tell you, I saw this lizard in my backyard. This is the coolest little guy.
Oh, these little skink things like this big?
A little bit heftier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I still get those in my basement every now and then.
They get inside?
I don't know how. So I've gone around my house and I've looked in all my window wells and stuff like that, and I did find a couple places where meese were getting into my house. So my cats left me a present the other night. So it's an absolutely eviscerated mouth. Looks like somebody had thrown it in a fucking blender and left it on my... Yeah, it was disgusting, dude.
Yeah, they got it, though.
Fuck yeah, they got it.
They got it.
Yeah, they got it. They didn't eat none of them. So
that wasn't the point.
I know it wasn't murder and mayhem were the points.
Protected your home, man.
I guess, man.
You can't ask more out of a cat, dude.
I don't think it was a protection kind of thing. I think it was like, oh, we fucking got you, fucker, kind of thing. Because I mean, I'm telling you, man, if someone strange rings my doorbell, my cats run away. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they punch within their own weight. Actually, it sounds like they punch way below their own weight.
They punch way down. Yeah, they punch way
Yeah.
down. Yeah, they got one of them lizards once. So yeah, they tore him to pieces too. So poor little guy.
It's just the weird thing is, when I was in North Dakota and that dog of mine found a frog, right? She didn't wreck it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she got up behind it, right? And she, looked at it and she sniffed it, right? And I thought she was going to demolish this thing. And she's just booping it with her paw.
Oh, yeah?
Right? She just, curious, and she just boop, boop, boop. And I was like, what are you doing? And, I came over, and we don't have that many frogs here.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
I've
seen
heard
horny toads. But
yeah, I've seen those. But I've heard frogs, but we've never found it. And this thing is just sitting out in the open, and it's just taking it as sausage. Is just like pushing this thing around. But there's clearly no malice behind it.
Right.
Yeah. It's weird.
Not threatened by the dog, huh? So.
Yeah, and nor was the dog threatened by it.
Right.
But she doesn't love mice.
Oh, yeah. She'll bite them. Yeah.
But if she can try, she's way too clumsy. You've seen her. She's uncoordinated. She's just... My dog lives a life of like a perpetual inner ear infection. That's like... There's nothing graceful about who she is or what she does. Yeah. She no cat. You have cat.
I have 2 cats. One of them is quite graceful. The other one's just fat. So
it makes the gracefulness more difficult. I think we know that.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just muscly though, man. So she's probably the most buff cat I've ever had. So.
Well, then stop calling her fat.
But she is fat, man. So trust me, I'll show you a picture someday of her sleeping on a bed. She sleeps on a bed like a human does. So on her back with her paws up like this, like you're crossing over your chest, and then just that big old belly hanging out. Yeah. So yeah, kicking the covers down because man, it's hot around here.
Yeah, she's so fat she needs fucking she needs the machine to breathe.
It's not that bad. I need one of those someday. Getting to that age too, man. So
what do you mean?
Oh, the doctors want me to go do the sleep test now. So the formal one. I gotta be honest, man. I don't know anybody over the age of 50 who doesn't use one of those now.
Hey, dude, I don't have a problem with this. It's just, why do they want you to do that? Are you having trouble sleeping?
I didn't think so, but my wife says I have. So.
Well, I mean, how? Or do you do the
I don't know. Yeah. She just says I have trouble breathing when I'm trying to sleep. It's like, okay, cool. My dad had that for years, so.
Yeah.
My father-in-law had it so bad he had to have surgery. So.
See, that I've heard of.
Yeah.
I've heard of that too. Yeah.
Yep, he had to actually have bona fide surgery. But he had apnea so bad. I mean, he'd be sitting there watching TV and he'd go on in like 30-second shifts where he'd be awake and then he'd fall asleep for 30 seconds. He'd be awake and he'd fall asleep. And he's just not breathing the entire time. It was fucking weird. So you just sit there.
Oh, so he had just straight up narcolepsy at that point.
I think it was. It actually got to that point. But it was really bad apnea too. And so, because, I mean, you know, like there was that one year we lived with them while we were saving up money for that last house.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, that guy would shake the foundation of the house. So he was snoring so bad.
Yeah. My dad was like that too.
Yeah.
My dad was like that too. You know, and for the longest time, it was just, oh, you're a guy that snores.
You know, that's what it was like when my dad was younger too. It was like, all right, well, you're snoring. We just all got used to it, you know, kind of thing. It was only years later. It was like, actually, you can die from this. So, in getting up there in age and your weight, yeah, you're actually likely to die.
No, and listen, you know, don't let me sell this in way any other than endearing, because I mean, to me at that point, it's like sleeping next to the ocean, man. It was actually kind of comforting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know that's weird, but yeah, I've had animals that snore.
My fat cat snores. Yep.
So this one doesn't.
Call your dog?
No, she just makes. You've seen her. She does that
yeah.
Every now and then she'll bark.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's a very unique bark, which I absolutely love. But so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, did either of your fathers did they any of them have the deviated septum?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, because mine is fucking crooked as it gets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have one good nostril.
Oh no. I did not know that. I not that I know of. So between the two, I know my father-in-law. There was something wrong with his throat, and that's why he had to have surgery.
Got it.
But yeah, that was. I don't think that was the sinuses. Yeah, they had to cut out that little thing that hangs down.
The uvula.
Uvula, yeah. So they had to.
That's gone.
And my father, yeah, they took that out. So the uvulaectomy. I don't know. So
wow.
Yeah, and then they burn the back of your throat with like they cauterize it so it tightens up and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly surgery. So
yeah, it's weird because I mean, some people use that when they're singing, and I know that's something that he does.
Well, he sings bass. I don't know if he uses it that much.
Oh, you know, that's a good point. Yeah, because that's
he's one of the few guys who can reach those notes. So he could suck completely, and they'd still have him on a choir.
Yeah, no, that's it is. Well, yeah, and it's more on the bottom side and from the diaphragm. You know, I'm sure your wife can happily tell you more about that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's been discussed in detail.
Oh, it has. So, in fact, my daughter and I are rebelling against my wife's taste in music lately.
Wow, what's wrong with it?
Oh, she's all back into barbershop now. I can't fucking...
You were saying that,
I cannot stand that music, man. So, I mean, like, her whole family's into it, and they all, like, you know, they sing different parts and things like that, and, you know, they've always been that way. And I have gone to a lot of concerts. I know they put a lot of work into it. I appreciate all the work they put into it. It's just, it's not for me, man. So, and then my daughter is also like, Dad, can we turn on the radio? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, we can turn on the actual radio.
Well, when you say turn on the radio, was she listening to Barbershop on the radio?
In the car.
Oh.
So, yeah, she's got it all loaded up on her MP3 player or whatever it is.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah. So I was driving my daughter around the other day, and she's like, Dad, can we listen to radio?
It's like, of course, my dear.
Of course.
Whatever you want to listen to. It's
There's
fine.
football on.
The season hasn't started yet.
No, preseason. So they've been doubling up the preseason games, so they're 2 a day, I think, over the weekend. I don't know. I watched the Patriots, I think, on Friday. Or maybe that was
I just caught the
Thursday.
highlights, yeah.
Yeah.
If there is such a thing, if you want to call it that. No, it's funny that you mentioned that. Like, it's such a rough thing when people actually are passionate about certain things and you have a connection to that, right? Because it's weird because you can be delicate about it, as you are, but there's this thing where it's like, yeah, that guy operates a jackhammer better than anyone I've ever seen. But I'm not
a mean forklift.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not going to get dressed up in my tux on Friday and go see it in the symphony. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it. I can appreciate the difficulty.
Right.
But I don't enjoy it.
No, this isn't for me. So.
I mean, I think it's cute. I think barbershop is cute. I think there's a lot of. Again, I don't really understand harmonizing. Like, I do. I get it on an aesthetic level. I get it on a theoretical level. I can't do it.
No, I can't do it. I can't sing a note. So
I can't immediately pick up. It's like, okay, you're here, so I need to be 2 notes down and sort of inverse. I knew people who could do that.
I know.
Like this.
Well, and they're all like that. Even
Yeah.
my wife. I mean,
Yeah.
they all understand register and music. And
I love it.
scales.
I absolutely love that.
I don't get it, man. I mean, people will like play a song to me and then ask me, "Is that note higher or lower than the previous one?" I'm like, I don't know. Did I see your hands on the keyboard?
Well,
that's the only way I can tell.
you got a Darpino. This one, it's like, well, I can tell because you're doing this.
The do re mi, the fucking hand signs. Yeah,
the do re mi in American Sign Language. Yeah.
So,
Holy cow! Okay, that's
I'm
that's not something I've thought of in a long time. About
oh
that.
yeah. Well, do is a fifth,
It's a
if I
fifth.
recall. Yeah.
And then there's
I don't know. Do re mi.
fa sol la ti.
See, I didn't even know that. There you go. I'm relying on your memory. I haven't taken a music class since 5th grade or 6th grade. Maybe they made me take it 6th grade. So
You would have taken it in 6th grade. I know I did.
I know they tried to make me take a choir or something in like 8th grade.
In 8th grade.
Yeah, because I had one so I got booted off the smart kid track in at the end of 7th grade, and so I had to fill up my schedule with bullshit classes. Rather than advanced classes like my friends. Yeah. So they tried to make me take it, and I refused. I mean, I skipped the class for 3 weeks straight. So, and I mean, I was getting pink slips and all that stuff. And then, they were like, well, you got to attend this class. It's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to sing. So you can't make me. So I got to do typing instead.
Yeah.
Even though the class was full.
That makes way more sense.
Honestly.
I
guess. It was one of those things where you didn't get to pick your schedule. So right down, you could request things, and if you didn't get them, you got auto assigned to other shit. So especially if it wasn't anything that was required. So I got auto assigned to that, and almost got suspended because I refused to go to that class. I just stayed. It was right after gym too, so I just stayed in the gym. So
okay.
Yeah. Oh well.
No, I don't fault you on that, especially this is. Am I to presume that this time period, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now keep in mind, yes, I was also dumped from the Smart Kid classes at the end of 7th grade, but everyone was.
Oh yeah, you guys murdered the program.
We didn't murder the program. The program murdered itself.
Yeah, it did. It imploded.
And this is the sort of thing that you get when you're like, okay, well, we're going to let these, senior people make the classes for the advanced people. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 3 cornerstone people of this is going to be on vacation in
March
in Hawaii
for 2 months.
for 2 full months.
Yeah, every year. Yay, tenure.
And the only reason that she did the rest of that was because she wanted to coach cheerleading, right? So,
Yeah, that's true.
so again, I'm not naming names. I don't
Oh
have
yeah,
to,
no, it's fine.
but
I mean, she was like the top 5 most senior um uh social studies teachers in the district at that point in time. She could have whatever fucking job she wanted.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But in return, yes, they ended up killing the program.
Right.
And I think a lot of that also had to do with take a program like that, mess it the fuck up, and take a lot of kids when they're at their most emotionally vulnerable. And I presume that's kind of when you were struggling. Yes.
8th grade?
Yeah.
I'd say the ass end is 7th grade. So, but by that point in time, my dad had gotten back, so he wasn't deployed no more. And then, yeah, I was just having a rough time in 8th grade. But I mean, there were like some classes I really did like. That's when I started really. I mean, I had never had who was the other art teacher, Mr. Hampton.
Yeah.
I had him that year.
Oh,
so
okay.
and he was great. He and I clicked, and then that was the year that the woodshop teacher got his head cut open. And then
I knew it happened, but that wasn't like a woodshop accident, was it?
no, he had a tumor. So yeah, so he had a tumor, and so his replacement guy was really cool. So I had a couple teachers that I really liked. So, but yeah, no, choir was not. It was not going to happen, man.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like you're taking somebody who's like an emotionally bad place,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, all right, well, tell you what, you seem emotionally fucked up, so why don't you go sing in front of a whole bunch of other people?
Exactly. Yeah, that was terrible.
It's not choice. It's like, no, we're gonna make you do it. It's like, what, have you lost your fucking mind?
Well, I mean, and this is back when like anything considered school counseling was a joke. So, I mean, a complete absurd. It was like, you guys are just a waste of fucking oxygen, man. So
There is a question, especially at those levels. It's like, what do you do?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you do? And we had 2 of them there too, which was weird. So, but anyway,
I never met either one.
No, I met both of them many times. They did exactly dick.
How exciting!
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
How exciting for them.
But then, I mean, and part of that was like I went through the junior high model, and now they do the middle school with the 6th, 7th, and 8th. I think that's actually a lot fucking better. So just watching my daughter go through it's so much easier than how you and I went through it.
Well, were you guys? Did they switch you to block system or no?
We were block system in 8th grade. So
Okay.
yeah, so not in 7th grade. 7th grade we had full 7 periods. 8th grade we went block system. 9th grade I think we were still on a block system, but they murdered it not too long after that. So
I did it.
you did it?
Yeah.
Through the whole stint while you were there?
I was only there for 2 years.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, okay, they must have done it 2 years in a row then. So, but yeah, no, they did get rid of that. So because I mean, asking kids to sit still for what was it, like 2 hours and 40 fucking minutes?
Dude.
So it's absolutely nuts at that age.
Oh.
So yeah, I can't think of a school that's on the block system.
I know some colleges that do something like that.
Well, I know a college that does
Well,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not that. Their block system is nothing like that, man. So they take one class at a time for a month. So it's so fucked in. It's weird, and they all talk about it like it's like, oh yeah, this is our gift to the education world. So, and it's like, you guys can only do this because you can afford it. Fuck off.
That's supposed to be.
Yeah. They can afford to have professors on faculty there who only work like 2 months out of the year.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. And then go do quote unquote research. The rest of the
Research
time.
art history. Yeah. Go
Research
ahead.
art history.
Yeah.
Go have at it, buddy. So,
Sorry, buddy. All that research has been done for you already.
yes. So yeah, but no, I mean, there's been some other schools that tried doing that where you only had 4 classes and then you broke up into a quarter system. That piece of shit college that I taught at first, that's how we did it. We did it in quarter-based system, so it's technically a block system. So
Yeah, you did. Yeah. That's true.
but I'd still teach like 3 classes at a time. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. But for them, it didn't seem the same way. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, see, this is what's weird about it is you'd think that it's more intuitive for those people moving from the grade school level because in theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know in grade school you sort of change subjects, right?
Yeah.
You know, but in many ways it just feels like if I can go back to grade school, I can tell you that the day felt like one unending uh slog just from beginning to end.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even though I'd be going to, math with the Yellowbirds or
The buzzards. You're the buzzard or an eagle. So it's like, well, are the eagles the good ones? What do you think?
Yeah, well, so you and I, yeah, we were in Eagle math, and
Eagle.
so yeah, we'd wander off the Eagle math, and we'd watch the guys with the weird smiles and misshapen heads go to fucking like Sparrow math or whatever, and
Oh right, yeah.
You know,
you guys are still playing with rock. Losers. Yeah. What's that? It's called a protractor. It's magic.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, this is yeah.
We all doing that bent ruler. No man, yeah. So like,
but it still just felt like one big chunk of the day. So.
Yeah, and that never changed even when I was all the way through elementary school, which is getting way back in the day where I could barely remember that. So, but like I do remember, towards like 5th and 6th grade, your day would get broken up a little bit more because there were like 2-3 years there I did band.
Oh yeah,
I was terrible at it, and I never practiced. So, and that's why I have to like watch somebody's hands to know whether or not the notes go up or down.
Yeah, but I'll bet you did still learn some things in band though, in terms of. Well, actually, no. Okay, do you remember how to read sheet music?
No. I know that there's like a treble clef and a bass clef. I was never good enough to learn what a bass clef was, so I never got to use my second hand on my clarinet or my left hand on the piano. So, because I took like 1 year, it was maybe like 6 months of piano lessons once too.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
well, and that was because I was so fucking bad at band. So that the guy was like, you need to go like learn how to do this on a keyboard. So then it'll make you better on this other instrument. And so I did like 6 months. My mom actually bought me lessons with a friend of mine. His grandma used to teach him.
Oh, okay.
He lived right next to Otero over there. He's like the first house right there. So...
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I go over there and bang on the keyboard for half an hour, and then he and I would go fuck around in the park for the rest of the day, kind of thing during the summer and stuff. But I didn't really learn anything, and so by the time I got into 6th grade, I was still in band. So I was only in band because I was one of the few guys who actually had an instrument. So
which was?
I think it was a clarinet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Cool. The only reason I had that was my mom had a kid in her daycare who had given it up. And so you were like, well, you can have it for the next year because she's not going to play it. And so I was like, sweet. But I actually had my own instrument, which back then, like, I mean, if you had an instrument, man, I mean, you were like tasked to guard it with your fucking life. It was like a retainer, man.
Which is weird because
it's going to bankrupt your parents if you lose it.
It's not. The weird thing is, yeah, the threat is loss, not theft, because it's not a calculator watch, which you had to protect like it was your fucking nuts.
I did have one of those, man. The little Casio one.
I had one because I stole it, but that's neither here nor there. But this is the point you need to protect it. I didn't really steal it. It was lost on the playground. Only one person had one like it. He did not recover it from me.
Right.
But things are different now. I absolutely would not do that to this day. But yeah, it was a question of losing it.
Right.
I remember you had the option of using one of the fucking the trash can recorders, or you could buy your own for like $3.45.
That's right. Yeah. So I remember. Yeah, you soak them in shoves with with ammonia every day because you all had that one kid who was just blowing spit through it. Yeah.
Why do you smell like that,
You
dude?
smell like that, dude.
It's such God. It's like
There's always that one kid who never changed his underwear, man. So, you know,
it's never changed or didn't own or I have
didn't
no. I
own.
didn't. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, it's that same. It's just. It's that same kid that smells like dried spit. It's like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's.
He's got it in the corners of his mouth. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but like fifth
God.
and sixth grade, it was broken up a little bit by that. But like, so my daughter, before she started middle school, her last 2 years of elementary school were like that, where she had not the same teacher all day long. She had like a math teacher, and then she had like a language arts teacher.
Okay,
And then there was an other teacher, who did like either GT or social studies, or some other bullshit that they should.
Geography.
Yeah, there's something that they shouldn't waste time teaching the kids. So,
You want to start that fight again? Is that what you're doing? Is that
Jeff? I'm not starting that fight, man. So as far as I'm considered, man, fucking Custer's dead and his body is rotting on the plains. So we're done here.
no, I'm going to challenge you on this, okay? Because like you were saying, this is on the cusp of on the edge of memory. So this is sort of going to be access or an exercise, and we'll trade off back and forth, okay? What I want are 5 memories that you can remember from grade school.
The magic carpet. So
Be specific. What do you mean about it?
I remember playing chicken with your brother on that thing. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember handball. So I spent a lot of time playing handball. Tetherball. I played a lot of tetherball. Yeah. I remember track and field days. So
Absolutely.
I remember I was one of the first kids to figure out that you could bring a tent. And then like the next year, everybody brought a fucking tent.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
Because my dad had an old one. And I was like, oh, man, that'd be cool. So, and I asked Mr. O, he's like, hey, can we do that? And he's like, yeah, sure. So, and then the next year, everybody found a tent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What else? I remember playing Nations. I love that game. With the little rag balls. Yeah. I remember that. I remember playing chess with the principal. So, in the library. So
Mr. Derry?
Yeah, because he had been. I remember when he brought a gun to school. So yeah, it was for Halloween. He dressed up. He used to do the old West gunfighting shit like I used to. And
Really?
he had real fucking guns. And that was perfectly fine. Yeah.
Dude, we were on the verge of. We were only maybe like 5 years off, maybe 3 to 5 years off, for when it was okay for them to smoke.
Oh no, my third grade teacher still smoked in the teacher's lounge. He smoked a pipe.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I remember a person explaining like, yeah, they had a teacher that they had a cigarette in class because it was part of an exercise that they were doing.
I've definitely seen that. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, this is.
I've seen them where they use them to like fill up a balloon with hot air.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Oh no, man! It's like I was there when they smoked. So yeah, my third grade teacher smoked a pipe, and I remember like asking my mom. I was like, "Why does Mr. Stansbury smell so good?" So, and she's like, "Well, that's not a normal thing for a third grader to ask." So, but he did, and my dad smoked a pipe for years too. And so, but that was like when I was a real little kid. And so maybe there's a connection to it, but yeah. So
I guarantee you it was. Yeah.
totally smoked a pipe, and yeah, I think there was like, it may have been till like I was in 5th grade. They still smoke in the teachers' lounge, man. So because you were not allowed to go in there as a kid. Ever.
This was non-negotiable. No.
This was non-negotiable. You could go in the office, okay. So but yeah, no, it was you were not allowed in the teachers' lounge. So yeah, I think I went in there once. Because someone asked me to go get like cupcakes out of the fridge or something.
Oh,
and it felt like
okay.
I was crossing the DMZ. It's got a belly crawl through mine. Yeah. So there you go. Those are things I remember.
Now I'll piggyback on some of those there too, because one of the things, of course, I remember about. I mean, you mentioned track and field day, and it was just the highlight of the day for me was it was so weird to have those concession stands out there. And I just remember some of the odd kind of like candies and stuff that I just didn't see like in my local shops. They had these weird little, like, they were little fruits, but they were filled with powder. You were supposed to put some water in there and then drink it, right? You're essentially making a little drink, but the whole challenge was, not take it to the brain, but basically like, can you do
you do lines of powdered fruit?
Can you do it straight, right? Same thing, we had radios out there. I remember.
Do you remember radios?
I remember at that point because I remember that
this was classic boombox days.
Yep, that's what I had.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I remember about this was I remember that you had to sign up for at least one individual event and one relay. Basically, it was the relay. You had to participate in a relay. And then the rest of the day was up to you.
Yeah, but I mean, you could sign up for all kinds of shit too. I mean, I don't know, man. I was never an athletic kid, but I used to sign up for all kinds of shit. The only thing I couldn't do was like the strength ones. Like I couldn't do the shot put.
That was the only thing I did.
No, I couldn't
took
do
second
that.
place, but that's
I couldn't do that. I used to do long jump, triple jump, and then there was another one. Well, it's not the one with the pole, but it's the one where you
the high jump.
High jump. Thank you. Yeah. No, I used to do that one too. So yeah.
Yeah, all three of those things not for me.
Right, but I was really skinny, and so those are things that I could do.
Yes.
Yeah, those are things that I could do. So, yeah, and I remember being on your brother's team one year for a relay. So that might have been 6th grade.
I would not be surprised if. I'm guessing with the kids that you had in 6th grade, you probably didn't win, but you probably placed.
I don't remember. I had a few ribbons, but I don't remember what they were.
Well, if I recall, like there were some pretty serious athletes and like went on to do like big things in your 6th grade. Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know about 6th grade specifically, but over the course of the years, yeah.
Basically in your grade.
Yeah.
Your competition level.
I don't know if they were I don't think they were at the elementary school though. So, yeah, I remember a lot of those guys who really started to go like there was a guy who played baseball. He was crazy. We hated playing him baseball at the middle school because every time you throw anything near him, he'd hit it over the fence every single fucking time. So,
but was he like a little leaguer or something or what?
Oh yeah, he did all the things. Yeah, no, he played it all through high school and all the shit and college and all kinds of stuff. And so
wasn't Sean Bradford in your fucking 6th grade class?
He might have come over from the elementary school. I don't remember.
Because I remember there were two kids.
He was definitely in our class in middle school, but I don't know if he was actually at our elementary school. He might have been at this one over here. So,
because I know that there were at least 2 kids that were super fast. Him and Javier Plummer, I think, was.
I don't know, man. Your memory's better than mine.
Well, I didn't know the guy. This was the dude that Will used to tell me about, but
he's not the guy that I'm thinking of. But I don't know.
No worries. No, it's totally okay.
I don't fucking know.
Look, I don't. The difference between you is I'll quiz myself every now and then. I'll sit there and think like, oh, okay, so let me walk it through. So it was Mr. Huddy, Miss Shosted, Miss Owens, Miss Miller, Miss Murray.
She was great. She was a sweetheart.
Well, she was a sweet. I think she had some beef with my brother though.
That's entirely possible.
But I think more so my brother probably had some beef with her because I think she was aware of my brother's duplicity. That's another one of my memories from high school from grade school that I find so endearing was like, obviously when we'd, both sets of parents, right? When it's parent-teacher night, right? And of course my dad is wearing his suit and
oh yeah.
You
look back when you used to dress up for that shit.
Jesus Christ. Like when you sit there and see like if you went back in time to my parent-teacher conference days, right?
When you were a kid or
I was a child.
When you were a teacher.
When I was a child,
okay.
Yes. And the parents would come in on those days, right? To think that you would see like a visible tattoo would be
unthinkable. You gotta cover that up, sir. So I'm sorry, you're gonna have to reschedule. Yeah, exactly. Unthinkable. Man, but that was back in the day where if you showed up and you had a single parent, everybody was kind of like, "Oh, what you do?"
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, or like,
Oh, what?
yeah, no. He was like, "Are you
Did she
okay?"
die?
Yeah.
It's like,
Are you eating okay?
yeah.
It was a different time,
Are
man.
you widowed? It's like,
Yeah.
no, she slept with my brother, man. She gotta go.
Gross. Yeah.
Fucking hoe. No, it's
Nobody would ever say that ever again. No way.
No, the rarity, it was so rare at that point. Like, what do you mean you live with different parents?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about?
None of my friends were. Yeah, none of their parents were divorced.
I knew one.
Yeah, he was always fucked up, Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, his dad left, and so that's why he has to tear up the carpet,
Oh,
start
shit.
fires.
What is that fucking lunatic that lived behind you? You and on the other side.
Oh.
Across from Kevin.
Yeah, I didn't really have
TJ Maxx, that fucking idiot.
I don't think I had that many interactions with him. I know Kevin did. I did not.
Well, Mark had way more. Those two are actually friends, but
yeah. See, and I can't even see Mark's face, man. I never hung out with him that much, so it was different, man. So because that side of the street, all the kids were already at my fucking house, so
Roger that,
yeah. So there are a lot of other like Kevin. I mean I didn't have any interactions with Kevin until at least like 7th, 8th grade. So other than him like scooting down that little fucking preschool thingy that he used to have, so that he had to pull the top off because he got too fucking tall. He started going bald when he was in 7th grade.
No, well, okay, but that's the thing is there was the baldness, but also the hair got big because that was the other style at the time. But no, it was kind of weird, yeah. No, actually, were Austin's parents divorced?
I don't know. He might have been one. Yeah,
I think they were.
That guy did a lot of drugs later on in life. I mean, a lot.
Well, that whole side of the street did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, he lived way over there. He didn't live around here. So, he lived way over on Bluestone. So,
we act like it's fucking 2 cities over.
I'm going to drive past his house when I get home. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah. To be a fucking journey.
But no, this is the weird thing is, it was so rare that, and again, eventually I knew a few kids later on that had like divorced parents.
God, now they're all divorced, man. So everybody.
I don't know. I feel like there should be some commentary here, but I'm not going to give it. It's like, no. I feel like in many ways, if it's happening, it's probably for the best.
Oh, yeah, usually. So,
generally speaking, I mean, for kids, I'm sure that can be absolutely rough, especially when it's not, in any way amicable.
Yeah, if you have parents who can handle it like champs, then it's not so bad. I don't know though, man. I've seen some rough ones. So over the years, I've seen some really rough ones. Even my daughter, some of her friends have already gone through it. And so, like, we're like the rarity now. We actually live in a nuclear family. So,
Yeah, you're 1.23 kids short.
That's all thanks to the chemotherapy, man. That's what we call it, exogenous factor. Yeah.
No, I got you on that one. But yeah, that's true. But yeah, that was kind of weird. It was also kind of weird to know the other thing that stood out was like there were some kids who were like, wait, you live in an apartment?
That was weird. I remember there was a kid who got an apartment when he was like 16. Everybody thought he was a god. Yeah, exactly. But he had no parents. So he had to get a job and drop out, man. And so
where were his parents?
They're gone. So I don't know. I didn't know.
It wasn't for you to know.
No, it was my business, man. So, but I just remember that. And then there's like, there were like a few broken homes here and there, so there were a lot of unhappy homes. So that's for sure.
That's why I'm saying a lot of them. I feel like it would be best if these people actually did split up.
It can be, but a lot of times people split up just because they can't put together. They just can't put up with like 6 more months. Just make it through 6 more months, or something like that, like, and it's. And quite honestly, man, like people cheat on each other way too much. It's so much more.
There's no two ways about that.
It's way more common now than it was back then, man. So
either it's I don't know how to say this. Either it's way more common or fucking people actually hit it a lot better. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think there's a possibility of that. Shit, we knew a guy that was
I've known many.
Oh, you say yeah.
I've known many shameless fuckers. You're like, hey, Pat. It's like, stop it, dude. I don't want to know about your fucking shit. So if you're gonna brag about it, go do it on the internet where your wife can find it. So.
Yeah, when you do that, you might as well be signing an affidavit. That's fine.
I tell people that too. The last person I told it. So I was like, I don't want to hear about it. And if you insist on telling me about it, let's call up your wife. So he didn't. Yeah, I was like, it's not my business. So yeah.
Now, if you're a single guy, fucking talk about it all day. That's fine. I don't. Yeah, it's just. Yeah. I guess that's the other part is like, have you ever thought just for a second what it is to be like on the other side of that?
Oh yeah, and then guys get furious when they get cocked, man. So it's like, well, not all of them.
That doesn't feel awesome either.
Yeah.
But and that is what it is. But there's this component of like, are you doing this because she's doing this? And if that's the case, what the hell are you still together for? Because you clearly don't enjoy each other's company.
Yeah. That and like polyamory, man. So I have not seen a single relationship of that survive about 6 months.
No,
so I've seen a bunch of people try it, man, and it's just like, you guys are fucking crazy. You think he's honestly gonna be feeling that way, after like you actually go out and you decide to bag yourself a guy. It's like he's gonna be he's gonna be seeing green. So
okay, so let me put it to you this way. All right, so. Remember when I was so sick of being sick that I tried to wash out my own sinuses in the shower and I almost drowned?
You're right.
And the whole idea behind this was, why hasn't anybody thought about this?
Right.
2 seconds before I almost needed like CPR in my own shower.
Yeah.
This is where like the polyamory thing comes in. Like, all right, I've known some people, right, that actually are on a different plane of possession and I don't want to say maturity because it's not necessarily mature. It's just a totally different plane of existence, right? That were so unique that they actually found another person that wanted to be with them but also had those same sensibilities.
Yeah, that's
right?
pretty rare.
But this is what I'm talking about is like, so you flipped a coin 100 times, it got heads only once.
Right.
Then you did it again. Right? And then you're saying like, well, because these two people say, yeah, we do this all the time, it's no problem.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a lot of tails. And to be honest, like, most of us, we're tails.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, overwhelmingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tails.
Yeah. So.
And if you're a tails person with a heads person, that's probably not going to work out.
It's not going to work out. You need to figure that out early. So, no, I've seen a few people at the bar try that over the years, and it's just like, all right, well, here we go. This will last 6 weeks. So before someone gets pissed off, sure enough. So I was like, oh wait, I thought you guys were doing it. No, we're not doing it that way. Oh no, that's okay. Let me go check my planner. It's like, oh yeah, I wrote that down 6 weeks ago.
Bro, I've seen people,
Yeah.
You've seen this too. You've seen people that get jealous of their partner's partner after they're divorced.
I have seen that.
You know what I'm talking
about? Well, that's because in like every divorce, in every broken up relationship, there's an aggrieved party and a relieved party. And so,
well, there are times where both people are like, I fucking hate you. I hate you. Great.
Yeah. So but that's kind of like just
That's
that's when you
one
mine
hand
it down to
dynamite.
that's when you mine it down to bedrock, man. So
Right.
most of the time it actually
Right. Right.
breaks up before then. So you have a relieved party and a grieved party. And so yeah, I've definitely seen that. I've seen that with some of my wife's cousins over the years.
What,
So
after like divorces and stuff?
oh
Or
yeah, her family's full of them. So it's crazy. So, well, not like my immediate family. So, like my immediate in-laws, there's like everybody's working on 10, 15-year plus marriages.
oh,
So,
okay,
at
yeah,
least by
yeah.
now, it's fine. But then, like the other side of the family, which is honestly a little bit more fighty. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they definitely have some track history of grievances going on here and there.
Track history of grief.
Track history of grievances. So, yeah. Um, and it's not fun to watch, man. So
No, and I mean, we're talking about it from outsiders, like not fun to watch for them. I'm sure it's
oh, I
dog
watched
shit
the
to
kids grow
experience
up.
it.
I watched the kids
Oh,
grow up, man.
that too, yeah.
So I watched the kids grow up, and I'm like, oh, you're on meth already. Got it. Cool.
How'd that happen?
How'd that happen? You know? So it's like, wait a minute, you're 17, you go live with your boyfriend? Really? This is gonna work out great. You know?
Again, this is not me. This is not me basically like shitting on people that had divorces or anything. That's ridiculous, right? As a matter of fact, I mean, like, I know that from the generation before ours, right? I will also say that there were a lot of families that, if I'm going to be blunt about it, they got married way too young,
Yeah.
right? Way too inexperienced. And there was just sort of like a dog-headed determination. It's like, oh, this is it, right? This is, I am just going to, I mean, shit, like, I got, so, I had the fun occasion to, just throwing some hypotheticals at, Marina, and, uh, I was basically describing the life of our old boss, Eddie.
Oh my God.
And
Time for Bible study.
that's what I was talking about, right? And she just went into this diatribe, this Russian diatribe of she just zoned in and described what the perfect loser is.
Yeah.
And she just threw down and she's like, this is him.
Yeah,
This is
no,
him.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
she's like, and if I were this man's wife, right, this would reflect so poorly upon me, right, that this was the relationship that I was in. And this,
Yeah, but his wife, they kind of stuck it around because both of them love that kid
well,
a
of
lot.
course, right?
So, and to be fair, his daughter was just cute as a button. So, um,
I totally understand
yeah.
that. I totally understand. And this was the thing was this was the point that she made about this was like, look, she had a big disdain for the strip club, right?
Oh yeah.
Just me, who I was talking to, right? And the whole reason that she brought this up is she's like, I'm not talking about when you guys go there, for a birthday party or whatever, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm talking about the people who are there once a week. I'm talking about the people that
yeah.
are regulars. And she's like, these are the biggest losers on the planet. And she's like, and she's like, it all comes down. It's like, if this is what you're interested in, or this is what you're talking about, and you don't discuss this with your wife, this is your only outlet to do this, your escape, right? And I'm only using him as an example of a lot of the parents that I knew, okay? Dad or mom or both had this thing where they would disappear, right? Not necessarily like I'm gone, right? But somewhere that they would be elsewhere for a significant, like the workday's over.
Yep.
And poof, they're gone.
Yep. Gone for a while. Yep.
Even if it's at home, it's like I'm gonna be.
No, I'm downstairs.
I'll be downstairs. I'll be. And that's kind of. My family didn't do that.
Oh, see, mine did.
I mean, my dad would sit there and play on the computer for a while, but there was still like every day there was some time that he and my mom were chilling. They were like some part of the day they were always hanging out together.
Yeah, not my parents, man. So they were definitely two individual people who, they would spend time together, but it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna sit all around the TV and watch Price is Right tonight, or anything like that.
Well,
Dad had a lot of hobbies, and I mean a lot. But
yeah.
so he would always find some way to putz around the house. So he'd get into things, just tinkering with bullshit. He'd be out in the garage.
I feel like your dad might have had like an onset of the adult ADD.
He kind of did, but he was very quiet about it. So
yeah.
But yeah, no. Anytime anything that, like, he was the first guy that I knew who really got into computers. So he thought they were neat. So
mine. Yeah.
and then but I mean, but see, the thing is that didn't pull any of his other hobbies off the table. So
Right.
he still gardened. He gardened almost every day of his life. So
Insanity.
yeah, he's always a vegetable garden guy. So always had something growing.
Actually, isn't that kind of a New York sort of thing to do?
I have no idea.
Okay, well.
So I don't know. So something tells me my dad didn't have a garden when he was a kid, and so that's what it was. So more so than anything else, but I don't know. He didn't raise pigeons. That's definitely New York.
Oh yeah. Is it? Oh.
What?
No. Was that? Why am I thinking Puerto Ricans?
That was George. He used to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, and then my mom was like tired, and so she,
right.
after the whole day,
I know what your mom was doing, man.
Yeah, after the whole day, she was like done, and so she would curl up and watch TV. And we had separate TVs in the house, so we didn't have to fight over the fucking TV.
Yeah.
So yeah,
this little one right here.
You had a little one right there,
one down there,
and mom and dad had one there, a little one. So, yeah, and so there was never like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. Tell me about your day, son. Kind of thing. We never had that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it was reactionary enough from those past days that no family was really doing that per se. I didn't know any families that were that straightforward like that, minus some of the like more religious ones.
Yeah, the Mormon ones around here. Yeah.
And I knew some Catholic ones that were kind of the same way, but they were very Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just. Yeah, my dad, he would like tinker around on the computer and stuff like that. That was his thing. And he'd, watch TV with my mom, and there was just I guess that's it. I'm trying to think of the analog of that. Like, how are they just different now? Is the dynamic of the relationship different than it was in 1988?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So like, there are a couple things that are different, but like, actually being a kid and growing up in a household, it's not that different. It's just, things happen a little bit faster. There's definitely more things to distract you, but there's also a lot more work that's expected out of kids these days too. So
What do you mean?
They do way more homework now than we did.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. And then all the activities. I mean, every now and then you knew that one kid who played both baseball and football.
There was that, and you also knew the kid that was like, "Yo, man, come on over later." It's like, I can't. I got, so I got piano at 4, and then I got gymnastics at 5.
See, that's more common today than it was back then. You'd have a kid who maybe was into like 1 or 2 things, but nowadays it's like, yeah, you're gonna book out the whole schedule and calendar because you got to try and get into Harvard here or whatever. So yeah, I see that with my students, particularly my athletes. My athletes are nuts how much work they do. So you guys are crazy. Because now, like, even back then, it was like, oh, well, go do a couple laps, loosen up a little bit. Now it's like, no, you got to be spending like 40 hours a week conditioning. So, and it's like, Jesus Christ. So,
what did you have to do to be competitive? Like,
apparently,
look,
you didn't have to. You didn't used to have to do that.
Look, man, if I were to, now obviously I couldn't do this because the cost would be prohibitive. But if I went out there and I said, like, all right, Patrick, I got a box of 1965 Topps football cards.
Oh yeah, they all have cigarettes.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're gonna open them up, and you're gonna see a whole lot of dudes like what do you mean conditioning? It's like, yeah, you look like you'd win a bar fight, but you don't look like. I mean, you look like a linebacker,
right?
And you look like you're good at it because you play dirty.
You're right. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Right? It looks like there's no tackle that you make that doesn't involve my groin getting injured.
Yeah, or
right?
Your fingers in my eyes or something.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
in his mouth or
Right.
whatever. It's just, it's like, well, bike fingers. What is it? It's like, you got to get the one ring off. It's whatever. I don't give a fuck. But you look at these guys and like, you guys would get smoked by dudes just a decade later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
right?
No.
And a decade after that. It's weird because if you look at football players, this is the weird thing about it, is like the linemen get fatter, but every other position gets like thinner and trimmer.
Yeah,
and
yeah, more triangular.
And that's not to say that the linemen aren't in shape.
No.
Right?
No, they're fine.
But they have to have that weight in order to be able to move the weight around.
They're going sumo road. Yeah. So, yeah.
And human beings aren't meant to go that speed at that weight.
Nor are they meant to crash into each other at that speed or that weight.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So this is why your careers are getting shorter and shorter. Yeah, so.
But yeah, you're right. You're not going to be competitive unless because, and it's not even the same thing as before. It's like when you talk about like conditioning, it's like, so what are you going to do? It's like, well, I'm going to make them run like 2 miles with no water.
Oh,
right?
yeah, exactly.
That'll toughen them up.
That'll toughen them up, yeah. It's the same thing in the Army. It's like, yeah, let's go ruck for another 50 miles today. It's like, what's wrong with my knees? They're fucked up, man. It's so bad.
You're looking at like veterans getting out. It's like, why are you guys going straight to the doctor to get a medical MJ license?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, and then you look at the conditioning now. It's like, you guys are doing high intensity interval training. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, even people on my fucking golf team are doing that. It's crazy. So,
Pat, man,
I
mean, this is the thing. Like, so I have a fond memory of this. Okay, I don't remember the name of the show, right? But I can remember the theme. You probably remember this. It was the show. It was only like right after the news. Da, 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 da.
Oh, that's Entertainment Tonight.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I still watch that.
Is the theme song same?
It's still the same.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. But I remember that there was a guy host and a girl host. I didn't really watch that show, but this was Fox was going to air an eating contest. They called it the Glutton Bowl, right? And I remember fondly. It's just something that made me laugh so much. Is the people on that show, they're going over what's going to be on, and Fox they were still doing like gimmick shows to try and like get people in. And, so they're showing some clips on this, and this is what I'm saying. The competitive eaters back in the day looked like competitive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
fucking Fat Albert himself there, man.
And that's the thing that made me laugh is, so they're showing some clips from this, and this was, I ended up watching it. And that was actually one of the first appearances like in the mainstream that Takaru Kobayashi was at.
Right, yeah, and he's like 90 pounds soaking wet, yeah.
But you're looking at these other guys, and they're showing like little clips from this. And I just remember there's this clip where this huge black dude, right? He just won.
Yeah.
And he throws up his hands in the air,
yeah.
right? And they're doing the thing where I don't remember what thing they were eating. This is like in the days of like El Wingador and guys like this. But his mouth is jam-packed with crap, and there's fluid pouring out. And just remember this, because I remember they tried to stay like objective in these things, and the dude was like, "Huh," but the girl on the show, she just flat out, she's like, "Gross."
yeah.
She was mortified.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was back in the days when big fat competitive eaters looked like big fat dudes. And now you look at them now, it's like, shit, you're doing conditioning to eat.
Man. Yeah. No, it's just taking everything and always, just taking it on, dialing it all the way up to max that you possibly can, just to get noticed, just to get out there, just to be competitive stuff. I don't know, man. So I mean, like, since we were kids, some of that shit's changed, but like, I don't think day-to-day life's all that fucking different. I mean, even when we're talking about polyamory, even they had that back in our day.
I just call it swinging.
Well, yeah, it was swinging, or you do the car key parties or whatever. So, you know.
That would have been other people, not...
That was 10 years prior to us, yes. So.
And it sure as shit wouldn't have been my parents.
No, it wouldn't have been my parents either. So.
Speaking of mortified.
I don't think my dad ever let his hair go down over his ears. You can set your watch to that haircut, you know? Yeah. So. No, there's no chance of that. But it was still around, man, you know?
Yeah.
So, people work just as much as they used to. So, I don't care what other people have to say about that, you know? But, everybody complain, oh, you know, I used to be able to have a whole house with, you know, like one family income. It's like, well, yeah, that's because houses were fucking cheap. Because he built 1 million of them. So, you know.
Did you see that thing? I know, I can't remember which channel it is. I know that you and I both watch it. Did you see that thing about how inexpensive Japanese houses are?
Oh, yeah. Is that Polymatter or whatever?
Yeah. I was fascinated by this. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, what a completely different take on property.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but they were talking about Tokyo. So, like, yeah, you can get a place for like $500 a month. But it's like a closet. So
You're better off living in the internet cafe.
exactly, yeah. So or renting a bed in the airport, yeah.
But when they were talking about the actual houses, I'm like,
oh, out in the country, yeah, they were way cheap.
And that was the whole thing, was that they were not going to be treating these things as investments. It's like crazy.
Well, I mean, here we treat all housing as investment. So,
Nah, we've been taught that for a long time. Well,
it's true. I mean, you know, America's not going to stop growing. So you got all these other countries that are like, oh, come to Italy, buy a house for $1. So bring money. Yeah. Spend your American dollars here. So yeah.
Oh, the audacity if we in America like started looking at it and saying like, so what kind of actual skill or trade do you bring to this country? We're going to judge and say if you're going to bring value to the country based on what talents and money you bring.
Oh, like Canada. So that's crazy. Yeah, they were the one who did that whole video on how like Canada's immigration system is getting gamed by people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they can hop over here and make like quadruple what they would in Canada.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The craziest thing for me too was the other side, where they were showing the immigrants, the illegals trying to get in, and then you see a pack of like, those guys are Chinese. Those guys are Chinese. Yeah. What?
Yeah,
I can tell the difference.
Hey.
What are you doing here?
Como te llama? You know?
You can't fool me.
You can't fool me.
Yeah, and that situation is dire.
What, China?
Yeah. I speaking of that guy, he had a great video on about Taiwan the other day too.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that one. I saw it up there, but I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I'll have to go back and double check. So yeah, no, Taiwan's bad, man. So they're gonna fucking invade. It's gonna be bad.
Well, that was actually the point of his video was. He said, so the thing was, he did, eventually say like, look, there's no way for us to know.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, these are the predictions that our guys are making, but they have to make these predictions.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right? The whole purpose of the military is to be prepared for the worst at all times. And if you're not preparing for the worst.
That's why they leak these things about war games that they do every couple of years. They say, oh, they sank 2 of our carriers, but that's the Navy saying, if they sank 2 of our carriers, we need 2 more. So,
Or we need something better.
Or we need something bigger, better, yeah.
But what the thing that he pointed out there that was actually very interesting was that what he did was he backtracked it a little bit and he said, okay, so here's what we're going to look at historically. He's like, and not, he does the same prefacing that you do, which is always smart, where it's like, past history is, no, you use the financial one.
Previous results are no indication of future returns.
Yeah, basically it's that one, but with history. And he's like, look, so here are the changing parties in Taiwan.
Oh, the Green Party? Yeah.
He says, so look at these actions that they take when this party's in power. Look at the actions that they take when this party's in power.
Yeah, the CCP, they don't like that Green Party. The progressive one, whatever it is.
No, the Democratic Progressive Party.
Yeah, not the Kuomintang.
So. And he's like, and those are the ones that are in charge now. He's like, so when they're in charge, right, they end up like threatening and cutting off and doing this a lot more.
Yeah.
And the other parties in power, they're like doing more incentives, right? He's just like, so he's like, I can't predict this, but there is a history to this that they have. Because when he broke down the numbers, he says, like, here's the numbers, here's the lying numbers, going off of their numbers. If there's a conflict in here, this is what it's going to do to their GDP and our GDP.
Oh, it'll wreck them. So
he's just like, so it's going to do this to us, and it's going to be 5 times worse over here.
oh yeah.
Like, there's no two ways about that. Right?
You might not care though, man. So
Well, yeah.
I mean, Xi Jinping's pretty good about knocking off percentage points of his own GDP as is. So, he does that basically, because, I mean, it means that he's not going to eat less pork, but...
No, but somebody will.
Somebody will, not his problem. So, yeah. No, man. That's the one thing that's different is this. So, if you take a look at all the premier or the presidents that China's had, even back to Deng Xiaoping. So, you got one right now that's categorically different than the others, and so that's what I'm worried about.
Right.
Because the same thing with Putin, man. I mean, you build an army, eventually you want to use it. I mean, you don't spend all this money on units and civ and eventually decide, hey, I'm going to go beat up the guy who lives next door to me. So, just because that's what you kind of want to do with that. So,
well, every single turn you've been spending money on their upkeep, which should have been going somewhere else. And if you have been doing that for 50 years, then I don't know.
You're just waiting for something, man. It's like, come on, man, I'm ready. I need Cash's belly here.
Well,
so
does that go for us?
What, us?
Yeah.
The United States? No, man, the United States is different. So, one thing so there's another guy that I've been listening to, he's really good. But he says the United States never wins an offensive war, ever. So, he says we've tried it many, many times, all right? It rarely, rarely works. So, when we actually take initiative to go do something. So, all right, so you can make the argument the Spanish-American War kind of happened to us, but then we took it to the Philippines and fucked it all up. So, so we've done this in Nicaragua, we've done it in South America, we did it in Veracruz, we've done it in all these other places where we were trying to be a little bit proactive. We did it in Vietnam. So, whenever we try and get proactive about things, we fuck it up because we forget how to fight. So, and then...
Well, because it's a different kind of fighting.
It's
not, yeah.
Yeah. It says, America it's invincible when it gets attacked or when it perceives somebody else getting bullied, and it can step in. So, and it's just like, you can point to anything. You can point to Korean War, World War II, World War One. So Desert Storm, yeah, is another one. So he made an argument for Bosnia. So on this one, he says, and you know what? We feel bad when we don't do it. And that's what happened in Rwanda. So, because people afterwards, they look back on that and they say, well, that was fucked up. We could have done something about that. And so, and that's why this guy's saying, he's like, yeah, I mean, Xi Jinping's going to overplay his hand. He's going to try and do some sneaky Sun Tzu bullshit. So
well, it's so funny you say it. I have been thinking about it nonstop since you said that.
and this country is completely going to take that the wrong way. Yeah, the whole kick your pillow before they stab you kind of thing. We do not react well to that. Yeah. It's like, if you want to fight me, I'll meet you out front. So,
there is still some of that, yeah.
There's definitely some of that, man.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's got me a little bit worried. So, and the same thing with Ukraine, man. I mean, I see these guys. There's this other guy that I follow. I really respect him a lot, but he's kind of a wimp. So, when it comes to foreign policy, he's terrified about nuclear war. And okay, these are legit things to be terrified of.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
So, but this whole thing that's going on with Russia now, it's like, you don't understand, man. All you have to do is spend about 15, 20 minutes on Telegram with some legit Ukraine channels. They're pissed. They are fucking mad, and they are going to stay mad for a decade.
Ooh, the Ukrainians?
Yes, they're furious. So, and I'm not talking about there's corrupt guys in the government, blah blah blah. That doesn't even fucking matter anymore. It does not matter because the whole population is fucking pissed. So they're not going to stop fighting. Even if we turn around and say no more money for you, they'll be like, all right, we'll steal it from somewhere, and we're still going to fight these guys. So it's crazy, man.
That's how it was explained to me. That's where it's like, you don't understand these people. It's different. And it's just you haven't had to deal with that in the United States. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not to say I've had so many Russians, Ukrainians that I've talked to about this, right? And they don't put it in a way of like this is a superior way of life. In fact, in many ways, they're like, no, these guys are rock fucking stupid, right?
Yeah,
This is like, she's like, no, in many ways, these two people, by merits of being neighbors, should have figured this out a long time ago, even when they were basically under the same oppressive thumb of the Soviet Union, right? Even then, I mean, this is why you don't call them the Ukraine, because that's a Soviet term that was insulting.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it's like, oh, well, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I've been saying this because I think it was on the risk board that way.
It was on the risk board that way.
So it's like that's my first exposure. But yeah, that was the same thing. It's like they have a different understanding of identity tied to home.
Yes.
And again, like you said, if it's a defensive war, like you talked about here with the United States, like as soon as shit hit like Pearl Harbor, it's like,
oh fuck, this is like top 3 stupidest mistakes any country has ever made ever in the history of all things. Was to attack Pearl Harbor and think that we were like, oh, you beat us, nice move, Japan. That was so dumb.
We were not fooling around. It's like, all right, so we have this kind of like built-in thing within the United States that it's like, generally speaking, always 50% of the people are going to be like, maybe we shouldn't do this.
Right.
That's just how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you do something like that and you get that other 50% to be like, you know what? We do need to do this.
Right now.
And
yeah.
The other thing I want you to do is I want you to find every last Japanese person in this country.
We're going to put them behind barbed wire.
And inter them.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was so bad. That was so dumb. So, and I mean, I've read some of the stuff from the Japanese side where they're literally thinking like, okay, so, you know, we can't beat them in the long run, but if we hit them hard enough, maybe they'll like back off. And it's just like this, I mean, you could ask any Joe Blow on the streets. So, in this country at that point in time. So, it was so dumb. So, yeah, but, and that's what the Chinese are gonna do. They're gonna do something dumb like that, man. They're gonna put a torpedo into an aircraft carrier, drop a bomb on fucking Guam or something. And it's gonna be, they're gonna be done. So, I mean, I've been digging into like just some of the military capabilities and stuff like that, and so China's got a cardboard navy. So we're gonna tear it to pieces. So we're gonna have to race the Japanese to get there because they want to shoot down. They want to sink all the things. So yeah, and they're a lot closer. So they'll probably get there first. So you know,
I mean, they'll make a phone call.
Make a phone call. Yeah.
Yes.
So you know. The one thing that this one guy was saying was that he said that Korea would actually duck out. So
yeah, they would.
Yeah, you think so?
I absolutely think so.
Yeah, he says they're not gonna bargain with Seoul, and so they go neutral that day. So that was kind of interesting.
No, I think they would. I think at this point they're just in no. It's not that Korea's in a bad place. It's Korea has a really fucked up identity right now. And they've been struggling with things for quite a while. Like, I mean, and I was wrong the other week. It wasn't Brazil, it was Ecuador.
Where, I saw that, yeah.
And I was, it was Ecuador.
He said it was cartel related.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Of course. Where you're actually executing like
cue Narcos music here.
Just dude, this is like, well, this is a candidate that's gonna be tough on us. Kill him. You do that shit here, like that would be absurd.
That'd be
right?
crazy. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just in you know. Speaking of like imprisonments, you're talking about previous like Korean presidents that are put in jail.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's, I mean, they're. What used to be like a sort of like ironclad saving of face culture. You don't do shit like this. You don't get caught doing shit like this. their identity is just a fucking mess, right? And I think, yeah, that would be probably one. I would argue that there was a time, right, when the South Koreans would be like cracking their knuckles
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
this, like I'm like
Pyongyang, here we come.
well, they're doing the thing where they're like, don't take any phone calls because I'm waiting for this one to
They're waiting
ring.
for this one to
Yeah,
ring.
yeah. And if you do, hang up. I'm gonna call America right back and say, are we doing this?
Right.
But you're right. When it comes down to their navy, it's like a lot of small vessels.
China's?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them are small. Very few of them are blue water capable. Their aircraft carriers don't work. There's a lot, yeah. So they've got some pretty dangerous missile submarines, but they're Soviet built or copies thereof. But they're just like I was looking at honestly how air forces stack up, and it's not even it's not even close.
It's getting back to the old terminology of first, second, and third world at this point.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, it's not even close, and then. There's other countries that are going to be involved in that right off the bat. I mean, the Vietnamese are always down for a fight with China. So,
seriously, like that whole region, y'all got history.
They do.
You all got history. And the same thing. It's like, wait, you think the Russians are going to be on your side?
Well, yeah, and I've seen some people make that parallel too. Oh, we're driving the Russians towards the Chinese. I'm like, no, not really, because whatever's going on in Ukraine, I mean, it's going to go on for years, and so it's just a question of whether or not people are paying attention to it. And so the minute that you don't have to pay attention to it is the minute that Putin will duck out of there. So like, but if we're all sitting there watching him, he's not going to duck out of there because Russians are just as bad about saving face. So
if not worse. It's not in a significantly more retarded way.
It's like punching the concrete.
Yes. It's like, I get what you're doing, but man, is this a roundabout fucking dumbass family circus circuitous way of doing it.
No, man. And I mean, just reading some of the stuff that, like, even just in casual conversation that some of the Ukrainians say, they're like, yeah, we're going to kill every last one of them. So, and it's like, that's not a normal attitude to see. When old ladies are giving people seeds to put in their pockets, something good will happen from their death. It's kind of like, that's pretty cold.
Well, what you're describing, this is the thing, is that so there's a certain like face that the United States military has, and we're used to it. Right?
Yeah.
If we hear shit like that, right, the world goes aflutter. They're like, you said what? You
said what to those guys?
Right? It's like, we have rules, but then you hear the same thing. It's like, it reminds me when you told me of some people just don't care. It's like, I'll pull your fucking eyeballs out. It's like, I'll kiss my kids goodbye. It's just different. It's like, I believe you would. I
believe you would. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Puerto
just
Rican too. So
that wouldn't surprise me. And that's the same shit that I've heard out of Ukraine. It's like, yeah,
we're gonna kill all of them.
Yeah.
So in fact, I hope they don't leave, so we can kill them. It's just like, ooh.
This
This is no gentleman's fight, is it?
This was one of my I cannot remember who said this, but I remember the quote specifically. It's like, so which mob are we talking about? It's like the Italian mob or the Russian mob? Because if it's the Italian mob, it's fine. It's like, but the Russian mob, they'll cut your fucking nuts off.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're gonna put two in the back of your head if the Italian, but the Russian guys, they'll cut your fucking nuts off.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. That's on like cartel levels. The cartel where they're like, wait a second, your initiation rites are cannibalism.
Right.
You have to actually...
You have to decapitate somebody.
They give you a target. You have to kill them. Well, actually, you have to eat some of them in front of them, then kill them.
Yeah.
Right? Then they have a party with coke and strippers, but you're not the same afterwards.
And blackjack. gonna start my own cartel. You know? Blackjack and strippers.
No, I get it. And of course, I still have. I'm always going to have that comparison, from Red Dawn, where first time you kill the deer, you got to drink the blood, and you'll be a different man afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, flip that around. Kill a human, eat him.
Oh my god. I can't. Yeah. I mean, all right. So I know there's parts of Telegram where you can find that shit. I have not gone to look for that stuff. Yeah. So on there, I mean, there are parts of Mexico that it's just like, it's not even Mexico. There's like a few places in Mexico that are just fucking. I mean, they have American tourists who disappear all the time. So you rarely see it, but it happens. There was this whole thing, like maybe what was like a month ago, there was a guy who was like basically this badass grad student. He was like a botanist or something, was from one of these areas and was studying some shit, and they found him all torn to pieces. So, it's like the guy's just here studying shit, man. This doesn't even fucking matter.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, it is practically, I know this is something that would piss some people off, but you look at this and you say, like, you guys are practically Aztec in your, approach to life, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, look, clearly I'm not going to say, like, wow, those Spanish were nice guys. But I am going to say that it doesn't hurt my feelings to know that this culture was stamped out because of the shit you were doing.
Yeah.
And to you, this is the problem is you all think that's normal.
Right, you think it's cool.
That's the problem. Like,
well, and it's got this weird Catholic tinge to it too, man, where it's like, it's okay. It's all absolved later on anyway. So that's just weird.
You know what? And it's not like the cool way, like the last 5 minutes of The Godfather, where it's do you denounce Satan and all that?
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, fucking what's his name getting choked out in the back seat. But like, no, this is. I'm gonna say this. You either know this or you don't. Are you familiar with the Funkytown video? I don't think you watched it, but you may have heard the. Okay, Pat.
Do I want to know about this?
I'm a gorehound like my dad was.
Oh, God. Okay.
But in this video, okay, they call it the Funkytown video because that song is playing on the radio.
Okay.
And you see a guy, and he's doing something to another guy over there.
Yeah.
What? You know what he's doing?
No.
He's cutting his face off.
Oh, nice.
The man is still alive all this
With a machete or something? Or
it's a knife.
Oh, fuck.
He's cutting his face off. The man is still alive.
Yeah.
And then he's going to start it on fire. And that's the thing is like, this is where, like, you cannot think this is normal. It's the same shit, like, it's the same thing that breaks my heart when I see a picture of, like, 12 and 11-year-old boys holding AK-47s, and they've killed other 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's like, your society still thinks this is normal.
Well, I would hope not, but... I wouldn't say that the whole society accepts that being normal.
No. We're talking about that part of Mexico where if you actually had the map, there would be like, there'd be dragons here. Or like,
it's just got skull.
Yeah. You got this. It's just like,
does this mean mosquitoes? You're like, oh no, sir, much worse.
Like you actually, it's like, so what is this? It's like, we don't know. It's like, why? It's like, we know people that went in, but no one has returned to your. Like, is there gold there? It's like, there are stories.
There maybe, yeah.
Legends say.
But I seen there was that's how I got started on the Telegram thing, looking for Ukraine stuff, man. So there was this video on there of fucking 2 Wagner guys chopping a dude's head off with a K-bar knife. So yeah, and it's just, I mean, he's still alive while they're doing it. And so, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? So, I mean, the guy's just a little kid too. So, and it's like, what? And it's, and that's when I started looking at some of that stuff. I was like, oh wow, you guys are really mad.
Again,
everybody here is very mad at each other.
It's not even just the math thing. And you may have heard about this one, right? Do you remember this happened in Pennsylvania. So this happened in the good old US of A.
Okay.
Right? Where there was that man and his wife, and they're out there all snow shoveling, and they're getting into this with their neighbor. And this goes back about like 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
It's wintertime, and they're just giving each other shit, right?
Okay.
And the man and his wife just will not leave this dude the fuck alone. Now, granted, he's getting into it too.
Okay.
Right? So at one point, he says, like, he's just like, I've had enough. He runs over to his house, comes out with a handgun, I think. All right, and shoots the woman in the street. She's not dead yet.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah.
Comes across, shoots the guy in his garage.
Yeah.
Right?
I do remember this.
This is what I'm talking about.
I do remember. Yeah, they captured it on Ring camera.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, because they're egging him on, too. They was like, go ahead and shoot me. And the guy's just like, okay.
I remember that, yeah.
And then he goes back in his house.
This is for the record. If you say go ahead and shoot me, that doesn't mean it's okay.
I have checked the law. It doesn't even commute the sentence. It doesn't even, like, knock it down a peg.
Yeah.
It doesn't put you at, like, manslaughter.
Like, I was doing the guy a favor. You know?
Right. Yeah, and then he comes back with like an AR, and he goes to the woman. He's like, "Should have kept your fucking mouth shut."
I do remember
and he pops her, and then that's the part where after he goes in the garage, shoots that other dude like 6 times, goes back in his house, and you wait, and about a minute later you hear him shoot himself. But I mean, that's the stuff that jumps out here is like that's the insanity that we have here, not.
No, not cutting somebody's face off. Yeah. Or having 10-year-old kids initiate into a gang by shooting other 10-year-old kids.
Yes.
So that's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, American gang violence is way the fuck down. So I didn't even know that.
Except in the spots where it's not. But it's those areas.
Did you see the one today? It's with the fucking mall in L.A.?
Dude.
Where they just bear mace?
Yeah.
Oh man!
Okay, let's meet another person that was like, arrest me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some comments on that. Yeah, because I was like, the dude set very low expectations and got exactly what he wanted for, you know, and I can respect that. But yeah, it's like so. The rest of we have problem areas. We know that there are problems.
Yeah, we know that there are problems.
How we can actually face this, I don't know. We have to stop walking this, tiptoe line and say like, all right, well, either we address this by saying race doesn't exist, or we address this by saying race does exist.
I don't even know how much that's going to play into it anymore, man, just because of the way that, I mean, the tide is clearly turning. So on that shit, fucking communities are getting pissed off about it. So
good. That's where you have to do it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They get pissed off about it, and they're voting some of these assholes out. So and then demanding more, like even here in town, man. They had that whole thing with, hey, let's use this money to build a police academy, and they're like, yeah, let's do that. So, and there's other communities too that are kind of following suit. It's like, actually, you know what's really pissing people off? It's not racism, it's crime. So
that's it.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. And so you can have a bunch of like, liberal arts attending college kids show up in Antifa garb and explain to me how capitalism is ruining the lives of the people around me. Or you can stay here for a few nights, watch them put up your car on fucking cinder blocks. So let your dog out while they're trying to bust in your house. And then, yeah, I mean, people who have to put up with that every single day, they have kind of a different view on it, man. So, in fact, they have a very different view on it. So...
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, there is a point where eventually you have to get to that disconnect where you just have to say, like, I cannot trust white liberals to give me my answers. I have to look at my own neighborhood.
No, and there's a lot of communities that are doing that a lot better. Yeah.
And that is not to say that conservatives have the answers either. But the whole idea of, like, you want to defund what? Like, but they're the ones that stop crime. I don't like crime.
Yeah.
I bought all this shit.
All this shit. That's my shit.
Stay in my house. Or the same things where it's like, no, I don't want my grandmother getting beaten up. No, I don't want, it's the same thing where it's like, you and I both know that a neighborhood goes sour when businesses start boarding up.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I mean, that's happened in a lot of communities where people now feel completely fucking adrift. So in some respects, and so they do what they're supposed to do in those situations. They fucking move. So, and that just pulls the guts out of those communities. If you lose the people who actually want to treat it like a community, then you're just left with whoever can actually not afford to move, which means they can't walk. Yeah. So because when it comes down to it, if your community is just a place that's unleavable, you do what you can to get your fucking kids out of there, man. So
And you're doing your kids a favor.
you're doing your kids a big fucking favor.
Yeah.
So on that one, and now like the job market's really good, so you can go where the fuck you want and get a job now. And I don't know. I think the biggest thing was when that whole decision came down regarding like affirmative action.
Yeah.
Nothing. Crickets. There were no riots. Nobody got a free TV that day. I'm putting quotes around my free. So
we'll stipulate that for the record.
We'll stipulate that for the record. Yeah. So and that was like what, a month ago. It's completely out of the news. It's completely gone.
There was complaining.
Complaining doesn't get clicks.
Well, no. There was complaining, 90% of which happened on the app formerly known as Twitter.
The app
but nobody took to the streets. There was no justice, no peace. There was none
of that.
There was no... Dude.
Yeah, Al Sharpton wasn't even out there on the grifter wagon. Maybe he was.
He tried.
Yeah.
No, he tried, but it didn't get any traction.
Yeah, got it.
There was a video of him dancing. I was like, all right, well, that's great. But no, there was that. It's so they staked out the Supreme Court justices' homes.
Oh, they've been doing it for years
with the abortion thing.
Oh yeah,
right. But for this,
yeah, there was none of that, man.
No, this is just something that they have to live with. It's like, because in hindsight, like if you think about it in hindsight, this is one of those things where it's like, yes, you have a favorite team. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have a play where there's a lot of contact by both receiver and defender. They made a call on the field. They couldn't overturn it. Mm-hmm. And you have two people on opposite teams that say, you know what, it was a tough call, but ultimately the one that they went with is the right one because that's the call they made on the field.
You're absolutely right, John.
You could be mad in the moment.
Be mad.
Because when it happens in real fast time, you're like, that is clearly PI.
Yeah.
Walk that back, whatever that case may be. Yeah. But then you look at it in slow motion because eventually, in a few years, you're like, yeah, I get it. Uh-huh. That is the racism of low-ass expectations.
Oh, yeah.
And that's twice as insulting. But, it's not saying the abortion thing, yeah, you can fight that one. Okay, I still say, like, they just made it so that the states choose. Anything that you can kick back to the states should be kicked back to the states whenever possible.
Yeah.
That's my argument. It's always going to be my argument.
I don't know. I kind of like the FAA the way it is. It's nice to have consistent rules when you
don't want county control.
Yeah, this is fucking Texas, air traffic control down here. Just get your ass on the ground right now. So yeah, no, I don't want that, man.
As I said, whatever possible, but yes, I agree.
Fair enough.
I agree.
No, the abortion thing is just dangerous, man. So, they had that thing in Ohio last week. So,
what thing?
Well, the whole thing where they used to be able to amend the Constitution with a simple majority vote.
Oh.
And then so they said, "Oh, we know what's going to happen here." So, and then they advanced a thing that they were doing that just went through the last couple days, where it was like, no, we got to raise that to 60%. So
to amend the state
constitution, which makes perfect sense.
That actually makes perfect sense.
Well, that's how it is here. So yeah. I mean, the threshold's higher to amend the state constitution. So, but yeah, I mean, you can see what they were doing. You had some people who really are on one end of the abortion spectrum and are very good at organizing shit, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, man. We're not gonna let you try and sneak that bullshit by us, just because it's now technically up to the state. It's like we're still going to hold it to a higher standard. And so, I don't know, man. I think anywhere the abortionists actually go, they cost the Republicans votes now. If they show up in your room, they do scare away the girls. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
No, this is completely documented here. This is something where it's very simple. I actually, to be fair, if I look at this in hindsight, if I look at the softest red period that we ever had in
Light flow ever.
yeah.
Gross, man.
Yeah. I would argue that a lot of that had more to do with the ruling on abortion ahead of time, because when it comes down to it, I've showed you the math, right? If it's just men voting, okay,
Oh yeah,
all but 2 states go red.
yeah. Well, we know which two those are. So, but the other thing is like it's not just men who, or it's not just women who want that law.
No,
So
of course
the way
not.
that it is, and the one thing that it did do, in some respects, is it kind of showed you where the contours of whatever it is you want to call the new Republican Party really are, and so they're not on that. Yeah, they're not on that. They're not on that same spectrum that it was 10 years ago when Mitt Romney was running. It's completely different.
No,
The question is where the Democrats go, man. So they still have some purging to do, man. So they got some
they
purging.
do, and the question is what they're going to do with the white cap of the pimple, and they have to.
You gonna let it go away on its own?
That's the question, man. They got to decide right now. It's like, yo, man, we.
But they got nobody. Their bench sucks.
I know.
If they do anything, they're gonna try and sneak Gavin Newsom in there. So
yeah, he'll win California.
He might win California. So there's probably 2 counties in California. I know.
That's it. I get. Yeah, you're absolutely
yeah.
right. Yes, that's absolutely true. But no, this is the thing is, yeah, they're sitting there with like 2 fingers in the mirror, and they're looking at it, and they're like, I don't know what to do, right? And what? See, this is the thing. This is the sort of thing that gets to me is they showed the numbers. Joe Biden has spent 40% of his presidency on vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not surprised.
And this is the thing is, I don't think he really. There's a part where I'm sure that he's like, well, I'll go where you tell me to. Right? It's like, you guys say that I'm supposed to leave, I'm going to leave. If you guys tell me to do this, I'm going to do this. Because he's already got a lot of people running shit for him already.
Yeah, he does.
There's no 2 ways around it.
Yeah,
so if they say, like, look, because of this shit with your kid, and this is going on, we got to block
but
you
who's
out.
going to say that to him? So, like, there's not, like, this, inner circle
This
of Democrat.
ubiquitous they.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
There's
I
not,
know.
like, these guys who wear blue robes, with them folded over their hands and, summon Joe Biden to the middle of the circle to atone for your sins,
Kneel.
It's up to him. It's up to him, ultimately. And so, I don't know, man. So, there wasn't really that much on that this weekend, but I'm expecting, there was supposed to be something else coming out on Tuesday, I think, about that. I still think he's going to take a bullet for his boy. So,
well, and that's sort of the thing that's being formulated is basically like, at least from what I can see here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're now doing so they're talking about the special investigation that's been going on into Hunter Biden now.
Yeah, that guy did go special counsel, didn't he?
So Merrick Garland
Does that
appointed.
really make any difference?
To me, no.
Yeah,
this is
really
clearly
did.
a token thing where it's like, well, we're gonna act like we're can't be impartial. I'm like, you guys are assigning.
But what he's done is so patently illegal. Well, okay, so like taking money from foreign countries isn't illegal, but not paying fucking taxes on it distinctly is.
Okay, well, no,
So
taking money from foreign countries when you're the vice president is illegal.
Yeah,
That's
illegal.
way fucking illegal.
Yeah, that is illegal.
Right?
I'm talking about Hunter though. So
So the question is, at whose behest and whose benefit is this going on?
yeah,
The evidence that they have that says, well, you're putting him on speakerphone with these guys.
yeah.
That means that either he's directly involved,
Yeah.
or he's indirectly involved, and that's
Yeah.
fucked up both ways.
Well, yeah, especially if he was sitting vice president at the time.
Absolutely.
So, but again, I mean, so you'd have to prove that Joe Biden actually got money at that time rather than later. So that's going to be hard because I mean, that was an obstacle that Jared and Ivanka could easily dodge. So I think he got it. I think he figured that one out a long time ago. How to dodge that one,
dude.
So, but anyway, back to my point here. Not paying taxes on that's Al Capone shit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's patently true, you have to prosecute in a case like that.
That again, that was the other shit that was like, how are you guys okay with this?
Yeah, he's got to be. So maybe that's why he's doing independent counsel, is because he's obliged to do it now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
it just in hindsight, yes. Okay. Do I think that the Trump's kids did some of this stuff too? Yeah, probably.
Oh no, they totally did, but they were smart about it. So,
But I think it was more along the lines of like, my dad owns a dealership. Like, I don't.
very much so like that. Yeah.
You have a daddy.
You're a dad. No, Donald Trump just knows how to run a good scam, man. And so when you buy the hotel across the street from the White House and start charging quadruple, and then you know what, we're gonna have that summit at Mar-a-Lago. So yeah, we'll send you the bill. So the Secret Service charging them triple. You know, so,
God, it's like white class tickets on an airline. Yeah.
dude, it's so fucking blatant. But again, there's nothing illegal about any of that. So it's wrong.
Just make it right.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, but I mean, if they can set up that kind of graft, you know, I mean, I certainly wouldn't put it past Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in particular to fuck it up. So, and
Dude, that's look, that was one of Obama's quotes, and it's always gonna make me laugh.
yeah, I don't know how true that one actually is, though, man. So Obama wasn't exactly a fucking rocket scientist either. So,
No, they said
I do like him, but-
no, I do too. But
Yeah.
they said this week that he told an old girlfriend that he used to have gay sex in his mind all the time.
who cares?
Not me in the slightest.
Yeah, me neither. So
Not me in the slightest.
yeah, that guy's irrelevant. He sits on the beach now. So, you know. Yeah.
What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
It's like, why is that a big deal?
Why am I
It's like,
supposed to
what I
get reaction?
care.
Well, yeah, what kind of reaction are you looking for out of that? Obama dreamt about gay sex. Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't take it back. Like, I remember my dad telling me, and this will be the last thing. My dad told me, and this that I have seen some truth to this, but he said, like, I wasn't one of the people. He's like, I voted for Kennedy. He's like, but I knew people at the time.
Oh yeah.
Said, I can't vote for Kennedy. He's like, why? It's like, because he's Catholic.
Oh.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, don't you understand? He owes his allegiance to someone
To the
other.
Pope. Yeah.
He's like,
The Illuminati.
and in hindsight, you know, especially at being at 23, like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But there were people at the time like,
Oh yeah.
oh, how dare you?
Oh, how dare you?
So you sell out this country to the Pope,
To the Pope.
papist?
Papist. Yeah. My dad didn't vote for Nixon, or I mean for Kennedy, because he was a Nixon man through and through.
I
Got
don't,
the chance to vote for him 3 times. He did.
dude. I don't know where I would have. I don't know where I would have fit at that time.
I don't know.
If I were 18, if I were 24, if I was something, and I had the choice between those two guys, I guess I'd probably be like every other idiot. Be like, did I watch it on TV or did I hear it on the radio?
Oh yeah. Maybe.
Or, you know, it could be on like what mood I was in, because like I can be really petty. I could look at that guy, it's like, I don't like that pretty boy, right? It's like,
I hate his accent. Sounds like an asshole. You know?
oh yeah, and fucking, you know, Nixon is right up my alley. What are you, nuts? No, it's they're ridiculous. Like, it's just like I could see
That's
some
a good
dude.
Republican body though.
No, I could sit there, I could easily see myself being like, that dude is too good looking. He pisses me off. Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Fuck
Yeah, he
him.
gets all the girls. Fuck
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna jam it on the
Jam it
Nixon
on the
lever.
Nixon. This is for all the Nixons out there like me.
That dude gets it because he's butt ugly like I am. All right, well, we're way over.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, I'm Pat.
Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
Okay.
All right, we're good.